Also in the query window you get various options. So if we right click, as you can see, they use standard cut, copy and paste, but you've also got this insert snippet, surround with, which can be useful to know about. So for example, if we went to the insert snippet tab, you can actually go through and insert a snippet based on what it is. For example, if we're creating a trigger, if we drill through, you can go create trigger, and it actually gives you the syntax and it shows you which bits you need to change. So there's lots of different bits and pieces in there. If we go in insert snippet again, stored procedure, and you can get different ones, a basic template, one with an output parameter, and it gives you the syntax of it. You can actually get to these code snippet manager. If you click on here, you can actually add your own ones in, and you can actually see all the different bits and pieces that are available. Something to be aware of. Also, you've got surround with. So for example, if we've got code line, code 1, code 2, for example, this just say this is some SQL code, and we want to actually wrap that round into a begin end. It's pretty straightforward. You can type begin and end, but you can also just actually go in a surround with begin and double click, and then it will actually wrap that round. You have got other options in there. We right click again, surround with, if statements, while statements, etc. Just little bits and pieces. Other thing you can do in here, obviously you can execute, as you can press F5, or you can actually click on execute above. IntelliSense, if it's not working, you can disable it here. You can also query your trace in SQL Profiler. So if we click on this, we'll cover Profiler off in a bit more detail, but this is just a quick overview. If we click on that, it'll automatically bring up Profiler up, and if we go to Tools and Options, if we go to click over here, Properties, and Event Selection and Column Filters, what it's actually done, it's filtered it for your SPID. So you don't really need to know about that. What you do need to, what is quite useful, if we actually bring these windows together, just bear with me. So just so we can see, hang on, and just drag that over there so you can see. And in this window here, okay. So as we write statements now, so let's use Northwind. Sorry, AdventureWorks. As you can see, everything you actually runs now. Do select star from person dot. Let's use a different one this time. State province, and run that. So what this captures, it's captured all the statements that you're running in your Management Studio window. You can get more information based on here. For example, this is only showing you start time, but it can show you end times. We'll cover Profiler off in more detail. So when you're running locally on your machine and your performance tuning, stuff like that, usually it's good to see how long did each statement take and things like that. So we'll cover that off in more detail at that point. Close it down. Make sure you always close your Profiler if you're running. We shouldn't be running Profile in production, but like I said, we'll cover that in the later modules. Okay. Query options. Again, it gets to a similar sort of option through tools. The batch separator. The keyword go isn't a standard terminator. It's just actually a word that's been given up. So for example, we could actually change that word to select, and it would say invalid. That actually works. Oh, it worked on that. So if we go into new query window and go select star from person.person, which seems to be the favourite one, and hit F5, it works. That's because we've changed windows. If we did select now and run that, you get a syntax error. So I'm not suggesting this, but if someone actually left their machine unlocked, it's happened before, that's all I'm going to say. You can actually change the go separator, but you obviously wouldn't want to do that. So just change that back. Okay. So these are actually individual to the actual query window, so you can actually change some settings: no count, recommitted, transaction isolation levels. I didn't touch on them on the tools options bit, but we'll cover those in a later module. And also statistics, time and I/O, you can set those individually through the GUI, and you can actually change bits and pieces as you can on an individual basis. For example, results in a separate tab, etc. Okay. To do that.